What is up, guys and ladies?
What up?
This is our initial podcast for Click Gaming. We don't really have a name for it yet, but we're planning on it being weekly. We got Johnny below, Chances on my right, and then I'm Evan. We're your Click Gaming admins, I guess is the right term. Well, Chance not an admin. He's an owner. I guess
He'll quit. He'll quit if he becomes an admin.
Message me on Discord. I don't want to hear it.
But anyways, so we're gonna kind of talk
Go
about.
turn off the light in my room. I was talking to my daughter.
You're fine. As you can tell, it's kind of just give and take, like kind of BS session, kind of talk back and forth, kind of give our input on everything. But Johnny, you had some interesting things going on today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, basically. Yes. As soon as I literally dropped my daughter off to school, I came home and I put jeans on, which I hate jeans. And so then I went to Oklahoma City to a CBD company that wants to get involved with esports. So I toured their facility, a 10,000 square foot facility that is a double decker, and outside they have what they want to create a quote unquote secret garden, or just pretty much an area where they're going to teach people how to like grow marijuana, different classes. They actually want to do some retro throwbacks with a projector out back, like some Mario Kart on there. There's a lot of cool stuff they want to do, but yeah, they want to get involved in esports. They want to do commercials. They want to teach people, like I said, the great value of what CBD is and stuff. So they want to tie what most gamers do nowadays, which they usually just smoke. You know, that's the thing that people say. But they also want to get involved with esports just to watch it grow as well. So it's pretty cool. And like I said, it's a great facility, literally right off of 235 and 23rd Street, like right next to 12. What is that body piercing shop out there in a barbecue joint? I forgot the name of it. Burn. That's not right. But anyway, it's literally right off the street. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like 313 Northwest 23rd Street. It's the address.
And so, do they sell CBD in the store, or is
no?
it just
So
like
the
a
cool
warehouse?
thing about that is you can go inside. You can of course get your medical card if you want. You can place your order, and then of course they will bring something to you. Now that doesn't mean that it's going to be in store. They're literally going to have to go to their warehouse or wherever the collection is, and then they'll bring it to you, or they'll deliver it to your house, or they'll ship it to you. So the cool thing about that is that if you are a cannabis smoker, or if you're just some dude that wants to come in and watch football and bring some beers with your buddies, you can do all that in the store, and it will not be illegal as long as you have a medical card. You cannot, of course, take on cannabis if you are not legally certified, because it's not recreational yet. So that's the cool thing is, say if we do events there, people want to come in and hang out, and all of a sudden, oh, my back's hurting from here, and I smoke CBD. All right, go in the back designated room, light up a joint, eat some gummies, whatever you want, come back out, and you're good to go. And no one's going to bat an eye, because that's what it is. It's for everybody that wants to be in that type of field, and those don't even have to be. I mean, there was children in there that had medical cards that were literally 6 years old because they had some kind of medical condition, and they were happy-go-lucky. And then as soon as I mentioned video games, their eyes lit up, and they said Fortnite. I'm like, yeah, we can do that.
Of course, Fortnite.
Right, and so
it's more like just come out and hang out, chill type thing.
Yeah, because they want to do everything from not only esports. They can do wedding venues there. They can do cornhole tournaments, like I was mentioning to one of our partners. They want to do game days, and of course, once the legal demographic comes, like say churches for lock-ins or schools or whatever, once it becomes in that area and everybody's not so uptight, the possibilities are endless, because they literally upstairs have about 15 different rooms that people can go in and crash in if they want. They can bring their cots, So you can have your own birthday party there. You can have, like I said, a college game day watch. You can play video games, or if you just want to burn the mother down and drink a lot of drinks and smoke some smokes, you can do that too.
Sweet.
So
it's pretty cool.
So you said that's separate. Oh, go ahead, Jens.
Is this like a new building they put together, or is it like they renovated a space and like they're just starting out? What's kind of the backstory?
They kind of renovated a space. Let me turn this dinger off. So it has been. They said they've been there for 2 months. It's called APCO. It's ran by two beautiful ladies that have been in the industry for quite some time now. They had investors beforehand, and they kind of like messed them over on a contract. You don't read a contract, you can get gypped. And so they're starting fresh, and they want to do it all out of their own pocket. So that's why they're like, hey, if you can bring us events, let us know. And they're like, we'll gladly give you a cut. I'm like, look, if you're trying to make this off the rip, yes, you're making your CBD money, but rent's not cheap, especially in the middle of Oklahoma City. It's not cheap at all.
No, not at
And
all.
so I told him, I was like, yeah, so I told him, we could try to get you events. I could at least put the word out there. During COVID, it might be harder than what it is normally, but anything is better than nothing. And of course, they're like, well, what would we charge for, like, say, a Smash Bros? I was like, well, for us, if we did like GameStop or something, we would charge a $5 entry and a $5 pot. The $5 entry would go half and half to the owner and then to the admin that's running it. She's like, okay. I was like, all right, well, that was easy.
Right.
Easy stuff.
Come spend $10 and play in a tournament, hang out, chill.
Yeah, like this was the first time that she met me, and literally within 5 minutes of just talking with me, she's like, "So do you want a key tomorrow? Do you want to come over and work on the garden tomorrow? Get you a key so you can come in." I'm like,
yeah, that's cool.
You don't know me from Adam, but all right. I mean, that's fine. So I'm gonna actually go up there. I was gonna go through tomorrow, but I forgot I have meetings, so I'm gonna go up there Thursday, and I'm gonna work on their back garden because I want to help them get that ready for like I said, a lounge. What's cool is they have cannabis experts on there that are actually gonna teach you the ways of how to grow it. For instance, I have a guy that's going to come out and look at my plant that I have since I grow it because of my medical conditions, and he's going to pretty much teach you how to debud it and when's the right time to do this and that. So they're trying to make it educational, but also aware towards everybody because nobody does that yet. There's no education behind the cannabis business. It's like, oh, well, here's a joint, go smoke it, or here's this, for arthritis, whatever. But there's nothing about cooking behind it unless you watch Netflix and then it's just a show. And there's nothing about, what the right nitrates you need or the earth and blah, blah, blah. So they're trying to implement everything they can and then make it also into whatever else we want it to make it into.
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, I'm sure it works like a lot of plants, right? If you grow it yourself, it'll taste better, and I mean, I'm sure it's a hobby, right? You can get it, go crazy, right? Get all the different, I don't even know what you need to grow, but, get all the different stuff you can get involved in, right? Like you're saying, test your soil, make sure, water it all the time, all that fun stuff. Where it's farm grown, right? You just get whatever they give you, but you can kind of make it your own.
Yeah, I was there from 10:30 this morning until about 4:00, and there was 4 different harvesters that came in there to talk about what all they have, and they were like showing samples, and I'm just like, I haven't been around.
And there are like a ton of different strains and stuff too, right? There's a ton of different plants and varieties, and right. And
they were telling me like how they fused it. Yeah.
Right. You can make so many different combinations, like you crossbreed and stuff. Like you can probably get some crazy different variations.
Yeah, I guess the most popular one is what they call Girl Scout cookie, which is like OG Kush and something else. I don't know the lingo they were saying, but they were like showing me the different nuggets, how things are formed, how to do it. And they're like, smell this out. And I don't smoke. I'm just like, oh, Lord, that's potent. So clearly, I guess the stronger it smells,
you know what they're talking about.
You know
what they're talking about.
And so what's funny, they're showing their warehouses where they do it at. They showed their land. I guess a lot of them have anywhere between 100 to 300 acres worth of marijuana literally on it. And, they were showing me how if you have it, say, in a mason jar, it's only going to grow the size of the mason jar. You put it in a pot, it's going to grow that. But if you put it outside, it'll grow as much as it is. And so I showed them the one that I was growing for craps and giggles. And they're like, dude, that thing looks massive. Like, have you fed anything? I was like, I just let it be natural because I just wanted to see. They're like, okay, you got some good ground. So they're like, we might try that and see what it's like. I'm like, okay, try it.
Please.
Right. What'd you guys do today?
I went to work.
We have real jobs.
Work's overrated. I'm a real boy.
But that's awesome. I think it'll be great for the community. Have a sounds like a free place basically, or a small fee place to host events for, like I said, the local community, and then also the Smash community. At 10,000 square feet, that doesn't sound. That sounds, I mean, pretty large.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I sent you the pictures of their production and also just the downstairs look from the balcony that I'm at. Like it's pretty massive. I mean, where you would play your gaming is what we would call the pit. It can honestly probably fit 20 to 30 gamers comfortably, and that is 6 feet apart, COVID style. And then, of course, up top where the production's at, they literally have a podcast room right next to it where we could link in our HDMIs, and then we can do that as main stage. And then after we're done, we call the next team up and just keep repeating. But we pretty much, it's its own setup to where whether it's like I said, a wedding, you want to have fun, you want to report the news, whatever, you can do anything there. And they're happy-go-lucky people because they're not uptight like other venues. It's like, well, this is my rule, and you can't do it. The good thing is, too, is they have the gigabyte Cox internet. So they're paying literally almost $500, and they got the gig up, gig down stuff. I'm like, I need that.
That's nice.
Yeah, good luck getting that in out in Wellston.
I ain't getting crap out here. Usually I got to put my cat back here on the treadmill to actually get any power to get any internet.
That sounds rough.
Right, it sucks.
Let's transition to the new Xbox. So the lower Xbox Series X, the lower model.
Yeah, what they released two, right? It's a Series S and a Series X.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Series, let's see. Series S has an 8-core AMD Zen 2 CPU at 3.6 gigahertz versus 3.8 gigahertz for the Series X. Let's see. Got 20 CUs at 1.565 gigahertz for your GPU, 4 teraflops for your GPU power, 10 gigabytes, and it was only at $299.
Which one is that one? The Series S?
Series S, yeah, it was a little bit.
S is the lower end, and the X is the higher end?
Correct. So for $300, you can't really get much of a PC. I mean,
what I saw looked pretty sweet, right? $300. I mean, something I read it was targeted towards 1440p gaming, right? So like, I mean,
yeah,
1440p gaming is a decent rig, right? It's a decent computer. So like, if it can actually keep up 1440p gaming and get you decent frame rates, like that sounds like a super cheap like thing to play games on, right?
Especially if you're a casual gamer. Yeah, like I said, if you just want to be a casual gamer, and most people do digital downloads nowadays, it's the perfect route to go. And it's smaller too. Sure. It's like literally, I think, half the size of the Series X.
Heck yeah! And so anyway, so like 1440p gaming, like that gets you some decent. So like one interesting thing I was thinking, and this might tie into the new NVIDIA cards too. Of like right now, like 1080p has been pretty much standard like gaming resolution for quite a while. I mean, shoot, I don't know, 10 years maybe when 1080p gaming kind of kicked off and like everybody was playing at 1080p. So like, is this new Xbox and new NVIDIA cards going to dethrone that and everybody's going to go to 1440p? Do you think everybody's going to stick around 1080 for a while longer? Because the new NVIDIA cards, they should be able to push 1440, and now the 1080, like the new Xbox is going to push 1440. Like we may go ahead and step up from 1080p to 1440p gaming for most titles.
That'd be cool. It'd be nice. I mean, I've played whenever Halo came out, because Halo was like the first like PC game besides Counter-Strike, etc., to go that way. But playing 60 frames per second at that level, your eyes, it's not like you're used to whenever you're just playing on a normal Xbox at 30 frames per second. So just the graphics alone of what the new Xboxes should bring is going to be intense, especially for those that are motion sickness, because it's about to cost more.
Right, and I saw like it would do up to 120 frames per second. So I don't know if they're gonna do like texture quality controls where you can get some real fast frames, like first-person shooter, 120 frames per second. Like you can play first-person shooters on your console now, right? Like, so it'll be interesting for sure. And the X goes 4K, right?
Yeah, 4K at 60.
For X, is they'll do 4K 60 or 4K 120. I thought I saw something that said it would do up to 120.
Let's see.
Per second on 4K.
4K at 60 FPS, up to 8K, up to 120 FPS is what this article says.
So up to 120 FPS. 8K. Does anybody have an 8K TV yet? I feel like that's not a thing yet.
I've heard it being talked, and I don't know if you can find anything. I don't think anything's 8K yet, but I mean 4K is crazy enough. What are they gonna do? Make it to where it looks like you're really in the thing now?
I don't know. Maybe I could probably VR actually, because like VR you need quite a few pixels, because like the screens are so close to your eyes, right? So it's probably targeted towards moving to VR, so you can have enough compute power to power a VR headset and actually make it look good.
I remember when 720 came out, I was like, this is the best, and then 1080, this is great. Now 4K, you're just like,
you're like, holy cow, where have I been at my whole life?
Well, you can't really tell the difference between 4K and 8K.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is going to be. Plus, a lot of people don't understand
4K screens.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand too. When it comes to that, you have to make sure you have the right cables, because you can have a 4K TV, but if you have it plugged into a device that doesn't support it or have the right cable, it's still going to be 1080.
No, yeah, cables are a big deal, especially HDMI. Like you're really gonna be careful with cables, because you'll like plug it in, like you'll hope everything's working, like you go dig, nope, it's 30 frames per second, 4K, or even worse than that, right? It's just like a 1080, and like you're looking at garbage still, right? Paid all this money. I say all this money. We just bought like 4K TVs for $200. Like TVs are
They're not
so
bad.
cheap now, dude. Like, I mean, they're
they're
cheap
not.
TVs. Like, you probably spend $600, $700, $800 and get a better picture quality. But like 4K TV, 60 frames per second, right? Decent TV, $200,
Yeah.
dude.
50-inch. Yep.
Yeah, 50
Yeah,
inch.
I
Like,
was in
like,
Walmart. I think the 75s were like $698 or something.
yeah, dude. Like, not
That's
to
not
mention
bad.
you're paying that for a 1080p, like 60, like a 1080p monitor or whatever, right? Like, TV's gone down crazy fast.
I gotta see what the version is that's in my bedroom. So one of my friends, him and his wife are in the casino business, and they moved from Oklahoma to Colorado, and they had like one of those fancy plasmas. But I guess on the market it retails for almost 20 freaking grand. And this thing weighs like 300
Oh,
pounds, and it's a flat screen. Yeah, I have to look at this brand and see what it is, but yeah, it's nuts.
that's a
And of course I
serious
don't have a
TV.
remote, and so yeah, and so up to stereo speaker wires instead of like normal speakers. But yeah, this thing is massive. Like I couldn't even fit it in my truck almost.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, 20 grand for it. It's like THX inside, so it's got all that cedar stuff. But it's I'm gonna see what the brand is. Let you guys talk. I'm gonna see what the brand is.
I hope it's freaking everything and under the sun included. What's the cost of a car?
Yeah, 20 grand. That's
Buy a freaking Nissan Altima for that.
a brand new one.
Yeah.
But I mean a PC, like a good PC to run 60 FPS at 1440. Chance, what do you think you have to have, like computer wise? What, 8 gigabytes of RAM? Probably a 1070.
$600, $700, $800 minimum, and that's assuming the new the new 30 series cards from Nvidia, like they released a 3060 or something, and comes in pretty. Like, I think the 3060 will really be a 1440 sweet spot whenever all that finally comes out. And it's really going to help out. But yeah, no, at least $500, $700. I mean, maybe pushing close to $1,000 to get a PC set up to do 1440p at 60, 70, 80 frames per second. So if that Series S Xbox really holds up to what they're saying, then that's definitely a PC killer right there.
Well,
yeah,
I said I was like I'm not gonna buy the new Xbox if it's gonna be $600. Like I have a good PC here.
Right,
Like
rumors and stuff, that was gonna be crazy expensive, right?
it's just like the
makes
Scarlet
me wonder if they
stuff
replaced
too.
it on purpose.
Yeah, I wonder. You never know where the rumors came from or who made them up, right? But yeah, no,
Right.
that came in way less than I was thinking. I mean, especially like the 4K version. Shoot, $500.
Well, that's like over here. I have the Project Scorpio, which is their 4K machine before this stuff was coming out, and it's so much faster, and the graphics are so much cleaner. Now, if you have like a UHD HDR TV like I have in there in the front living room, I haven't used it on it yet because I'm waiting for the new one to come out. But just from watching it on the monitor, my eyes are like, they go cross-eyed sometimes because of how clear it is. So I can't wait to see what 4K, true 4K is going to be on something that's 120 frames a second or 60 frames a second,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. We'll see. Well, it comes out in a few months, right? So there won't be too much longer. Everybody and their dog will be posting reviews about it, talking about how either good it is or how bad it is, right?
Waiting to see what PlayStation does though with their little router. See if their router is going to be the same price, even though it's not backwards compatible or none of that stuff like the Xbox. The Xbox has so many great features.
One thing I saw, that Xbox is going to be backwards compatible, so your Xbox
all
One,
the way, all the way back,
all your digital downloads and stuff will all still be good, right? You just download them and keep playing.
Yeah, you can play your OG Xbox original games on the.
Dang,
that would be awesome.
OG Xbox.
Yeah, like from 2000. What year was that, Johnny? 2004
maybe.
I think it came out in like 2000 or 99, somewhere around there. I don't remember. I remember I used to be a manager at Journeys in the Shawnee Mall, and I had a PlayStation, and the guy was like, "Hey, how about there's a Xbox with Halo on it?" And I'm like, "Okay." And then I used to play kids at the store, and if you beat me, I'd buy you a pair of shoes. Of course, they never fucking beat me, so I was like, "All right." But yeah,
the start of esports.
Yeah, right. Started esports instead of a mall. But yeah, no, I think Xbox came out in like 2000, and then Halo 1 came out in the 2001 era and stuff. And then, of course, you see where we're at with that. But
so that's crazy if they're going backwards compatible all the way back to 2000.
Well, they're emulators.
Well, because PlayStation, right? So PlayStation basically said, "Heck with y'all! Like, we aren't doing backwards compatible anything, right?"
Well, I would love it if they did.
Oh, go ahead, Johnny.
Go ahead, Johnny. I was gonna say I would love it if they did, because there's so many classic RPG games that were on PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 that I would just like to relive. But of course, I don't have a PlayStation 2 that's worth a damn. Now I have a modded Xbox that plays PlayStation 1 games. It's got over like 10,000 on it, but that one is the titles I want to play are not on it. So I'm just like, crap.
So this Xbox, the Xbox One, the original Xbox games and the Xbox 360 games are run on an emulator. So like, it's not like you don't. I mean, I don't know if you can put in the disc still, but it's an emulator, so it's not like it's actually playing like a normal Xbox, I guess would. I don't really know all that details.
If I tried pulling out my original Xbox games, I'm sure they're scratched to shit where they wouldn't play anyway. So having an emulator would be great.
Dude, thank God for digital downloads because you don't have to scratch a disc.
Right, be like, no, this one's not gonna work. Just throw it out.
I mean, you take the disc out, and you're like, okay, where do I put this now? Lay that right there, and then like, all right, grab the other one right there. Make sure that one's upside down, and then wipe all the dust off of it. Hope it works.
Well,
tap your GameCube a few times,
Out in the garage, I have 4 original Xboxes, and I have 8 copies of Halo 2. Because so we used to do LAN parties all the time. And so like I was digging through there. I was like, oh, this is memory. I was like, this thing still works. And I shake it. I'm like, oh, it doesn't sound very well. And I plug it in. I was like, oh, it still works. So I just put it back down.
There you go.
The good days. The good days when all you had to do was just plug stuff into a LAN switch. That was a 10 base T, and you were just fine. 10 base 10T. No, you can't.
No. It can't be that simple now. You got to be connected to freaking Xbox Live and download 12 updates, and then hope you cross your fingers it'll actually open. And dude, it's crazy.
Right. COD 2 LANs. You still have to get online for it to operate correctly, which is dumb. Lord, don't get me started.
It's fun for sure.
Well, let's transition into kind of the same lines, but PC for the new Call of Duty. The new Call of Duty League, CDL, just announced yesterday or the day before that their deal with Sony is ending, and they're just going to go to PC.
This is for like the Call of Duty League, right?
2021,
yeah.
Call of Duty League.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting with the FOV sliders, what if they make rules on that kind of stuff.
No, I agree. And the good thing too is let's say if Blizzard or CDL, whoever it is that's going to be doing their stuff, if they buy in-house rigs, then of course they can do their Overwatch. They can do anything because I mean I've been telling people for years now, esports is going to go to PCs because now it's universal. PlayStation, Xbox can now play together. It's on a PC though, And so Gears is going to do it. Halo has already transitioned into it. Now I'm sure FIFA, Madden, etc. Plus League of Legends, Counter-Strike, everything's on it. So why not just, instead of just keep renting this or renting that, just get a one universal thing, except for the Switch. The Switch is going to carry Smash, and that's it.
Right, because everything going cross-platform. So, like, it makes sense to just, like, buy a PC.
Right.
For the admin side and for the gaming side, the league side.
Yeah. I know some games, like, for instance, Overwatch, if you are on a mouse and keyboard and you play against someone on controller is going to get pooped on 9 times out of 10. I remember I was at Wichita State, and I was doing an Overwatch tournament. I was reffing it. They're like, hey, we're down a man. Can you just play with us? Like, yeah, sure, no big deal. I thought I was doing good, and then these Asians came in there, and I went like 0-20, and I'm like, I've never been goose egged in a tournament in my life. What the hell just happened? They're all on mouse and keyboard, just like flipping around. Right. Just like, I'm trying to turn with my joystick. Leave me alone.
Right. Well, didn't you say they're going to require controllers though, Evan?
Yeah. It'll be controller at least for this first year. They'll talk about keyboard and mouse in the future.
Okay, so keep it somewhat the same, not change everything at once.
But it has to be an approved controller by the league, which could be an Xbox or a SCUF or a PS4.
You want a modded controller, right?
Yeah.
Or any crazy weird stuff.
So here's the funny thing. You speak about modded controllers, right? So back in the day, a modded controller is anything that has been modified from the original state. So if you tried bringing in something, you put a button on the back, it was illegal and you'd get kicked out of the tournament if you tried using it. Now, clearly, SCUFs and everything's fine and dandy because of that almighty dollar. That's all it boils down to.
Right. Yep.
Well, Chance, I don't know if you know what SCUF is. A SCUF controller? Do you know what that is? Okay. Chance is not a huge gamer, but anyways, basically it's a standard controller, and they add paddles on the back, so they add 4 extra buttons.
Yeah. They put paddles like right back here where your thumbs are at and stuff.
Cool.
Because like normally on a controller you use you use 4 to 6 fingers, depending on how you play.
Right.
But using a scuff, or even Xbox came out with their own version of adding paddles to the back, but you can utilize more fingers, and it gives you similar advantage as keyboard.
Right, because you got quicker, like you can respond quicker, right? If you get more fingers, you can take advantage of.
If you're playing like a normal Call of Duty or Halo game, A is usually your jump button, right? So instead of like taking your thumb and moving it from your aim stick, now you just click your ring finger,
one of your fingers,
jumping
right?
while still aiming. Yeah, that's what the powerful thing about it. And it's BS, but I mean that's the world we live in now.
Right.
It's the only way controller players could compete on a high level with mouse and keyboard, in my opinion. I mean, obviously everybody has their own. But from an admin standpoint, Johnny, what do you think about PC? I mean, you said it makes it easier, obviously, because you plug and play. What about like your headsets and stuff?
I mean, the headsets will be the same thing. Like, for instance, the Astro Mix amps we have, you're literally just going to go and just plug in the back. It's going to run through the USB, and then you'll just run to the front like we normally do it, and you're golden because all the power is going to outsource it the way it's supposed to. The great thing, too, about it now being cross-platform is all the Xbox guys that wanted to play, they didn't have to have the adapters like we run for tournaments, or they would just have to suck it up and buy a PlayStation. Well, now these people don't have to worry about that. Now it's going to come back to the grassroots. So let's get it on. Exactly. No. So I see it bringing a lot of great talent.
Right, for sure. And it allows everybody to play against everybody and not necessarily like segregate different, like, oh, I'm on PlayStation, I'm on PC, I'm on consoles, right? Everything's going cross-platform, and just having a PC available to play in a tournament, like, you don't have like the problems of like, oh, I want to play on this or this or this. Like, you just plug in your Xbox controller, you plug in your PlayStation controller, right? You play keyboard and mouse, right? Everybody can all play against each other, and you can really get a head-to-head battle of all these players.
Oh, yeah,
because it was always the debate of like Xbox is better than PS4 and all that kind of stuff.
So whenever I did the Halo Reach thing at DreamHack, there was 90% guys were on Xbox controller. There was some PC mouse and keyboard, but because it was on PC, I seen people playing on a PlayStation controller for Halo. I was like, that's like sacred. You can't do that, but they were having fun.
That's sacrilegious, dude.
so here's also the cool thing about it is, so I was watching one gentleman. He picked up the sniper on Halo, and then he had a mouse and keyboard in his controller. On his mouse and keyboard, he was sniping, and he had his DPS so low that it would take him like 5 years to drag it across, but it was such an accurate shot. Then, of course, whenever he put it away, he'd get his controller out, and he'd go sprinting and shoot normal. But when he had the sniper back out, same thing, go back to mouse and keyboard. I'm like, that's talent. But that's crazy.
I mean, that makes sense, dude. I mean, hey, if you can make it happen, right?
Yeah.
Want to practice?
I'm sure having a really slow DPI helps a lot when you're trying to aim like long shots on a sniper, like trying to dial in those shots across the map.
We were laughing. We're like, so how many helicopter blades above your head does it take to turn your guy completely around at one time?
Got to run his mouse so much.
Right. We're like, do we need to put more tables next to this so you have a longer mouse back? He had a pretty long one.
Need a longer USB cable for your mouse.
Yeah. No, that's the great thing too about being an admin is that all the players know us, so we troll them. And so what's funny is when we have the fresh blood admins, they're like, I can't believe you said that to him. I was like, well, he's just a friend, man. He ain't got to say nothing. Come on now.
Yeah, dude. We'll like that fun, right?
Yeah. Well, I think the greatest thing ever is when they're in the middle of a best 2 out of 3, or for a Halo, it's 3 out of 5. They're on map 5, and they're like, hey, ref, can I go to the bathroom real quick? I'm like, you want to go take your Adderall, don't you? That's what you want to do. I was like, go out there. And then you'll see them. They'll be playing. They're like, oh my God, yeah, you're on Adderall, bro. Get out of here with that crap.
Snorting some C4. Yeah, G Fuel. Pre-workout. That's what I'm trying to think of.
Right. Dude, C4 will mess you up. Whoa, let's try that stuff.
And then I wanted to also talk about kind of the game Among Us. It's kind of its popularity.
That's been kicking off recently.
Yeah, so I did some research on it, and like a month ago, I believe it was, they averaged 7 players a day. Like, or on average, there were 7 players playing at a time, and now they're up over like 250,000 players playing at once. Servers for them are just dying. Let me look at the article. But Johnny, we were playing the other night, weren't we? Chance and
I should have went to sleep.
Nah,
yeah, we were playing up late. And that's what's great too is that you don't know who it is, and then all of a sudden somebody dies and they'll get caught. Then just the accusations fly out the ass. You did it. Why did I do it? You're suspicious for what?
All right, so let's take the 7 people listening to this that don't know what Among Us is. You got like a 10-second overview of what it is?
It's like the card game Mafia. So if you don't know what that is, basically you're in a lobby or in a map with up to 10 players, and you have, I think, minimum's 5. And it can be your friends, it can be randoms. But you're running around this map doing your tasks, which is just like doing a little job like connecting wires and stuff. And if all the crewmates complete their tasks, you win. But there's 2 people trying to sabotage you that are killers, aka imposters. So they try to either kill you. You can report the bodies. But anyways, it's kind of like a detective kind of game that play with your friends. You don't talk to anybody during the round, but once a body is reported or a meeting is called, you unmute yourself and you guys talk, debate back and forth about, hey, this guy was following me really weird. What tasks have you done? That kind of stuff of like investigating like who did it, and everybody's lying at each other, just giving each other
case.
Yeah, exactly. And like, no, trust me, it's them, not me. And then it's me the whole time. But it's only $5 on Steam. It's free on mobile.
It's free on phone. Yeah. My daughter was playing with us last night, and so what's funny is there was a part where I was impostered. She was alone, and I literally killed her within the first 5 seconds. She just turns to me and flips me off. She's like, "Damn it, Dad!" I was like, I just kept going.
But it's really fun. It's a great range.
Didn't you say it's been around for a year? Yeah, like it's been around for a while, right?
Yeah, like 2018.
Oh dang.
That's
been around a little while, but it's just not kicking off, right? Like last month or 2.
Yeah, so like I don't know if you guys know who Offline TV is. Basically, it's just like a streamer like community, and they start playing it together like as their house, like their content house, and they start playing it, and then all of a sudden just started popping off. I mean, these guys are pretty popular. Like got over 1 million subs on YouTube, that kind of stuff, each of them. And so they started playing it, and then all these people started playing it. They started seeing the good content. Obviously, Ninja started playing it recently. Courage,
PewDiePie plays stuff.
Pokimane was one of the one in Offline TV. Disguised Toast, like just all these big names. And if you don't recognize any of those, look them up. They're pretty popular, pretty good content creators. But they start playing it, and then all of a sudden it just popped off. I mean, it's kind of like, it reminds me of Fortnite, the growth of Fortnite a little bit.
All right, so question. Is this going to be a fad, or is this going to stick around for a little while?
It'll probably be a fad, is my guess. Unless they can add content somehow.
Right. It's going to be here for like maybe 2-3 months, and then just nobody's going to think about it ever again.
Yeah,
down.
Right. I mean, I still think it'll be a good community game. Like for our community, like perfect. We have like a special chat for it, and a couple voice chats.
In our Discord, right?
Yeah, in our Discord. Which
shout out to Click Gaming Discord. Evan will put a link.
I have no hyperlink to throw up.
Evan will put a link.
So I think it'll be a fad just because, like, I mean, okay, they add a couple more maps, but what's difficult is
keep everybody interested, right? Keeping everybody around, like you want to keep playing, right? Because like at some point it gets old, right?
And then the other thing that they need to add is some type of chat that you're not just typing the whole time, because they don't have any. Well, not necessarily proximity chat, because then you could just yell at each other or something. I'm thinking like have strict rules on like when you can talk to each other in the lobby, like if there's a meeting called, like kind of how we have our rules of like no talking during the round. They need to implement
so, like turn it on and off at certain times, right?
Yeah, exactly. Have it within the system. Yeah, where it's an auto thing where you can't say a damn thing until it's ready to talk.
So like meetings or whatever happens, and then like, okay, the mics are open, you can have a discussion.
Because right now you don't play it's hard to play with randoms. Like you can search people and just play like against random people, but like you have to type out everything
text the whole time.
Yeah, and okay, it was him.
But you can know with your friends, right? You hang out, you get on a call, or like you get on Discord or something and hang out in a voice chat, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
or
so
that makes you can even hang out on Xbox Live or something, right? Get in a party and hang out there and play while you're hanging out in that party.
Yeah, on your phone or whatever. But it's just they got to add that, or I think it's going to die relatively quick for casuals. I guess I don't know about tournaments, but maybe we'll have one soon.
Another fun game is Fall Guys. That's pretty fun, and it's literally a survival battle royale where you got to race from one side of the map to the other, where you got to last the longest. It's pretty much X amount of people get eliminated each round, and it's always harder ones where it's team based, where you have to get a ball across the map or go to a goalie. Ones where you literally have to like dodge things that are coming to attack you and like knock you off the map, and then your final top 8. It's like watching a Wipeout or something where you have to get to the top and get to the crown of the quickest, and then of course you win. But it's a fun game too. And how much? I think that one's free, isn't it? It's $20. It's probably $20.
So it's called Fall Guys?
It is free on PlayStation. Yes, Fall Guys.
Yeah. It's like Johnny explained it pretty well. Just like an obstacle course battle royale is like. I was talking to my parents about video games and like competitive video games, and I can't really think of any super competitive games that are non-violent. Like, I think of Fall Guys, Rocket League, and sports games and racing. But like, are sports games and racing?
2K is popular, right? Everybody plays 2K.
Yeah, but are they like super competitive? Like, I feel like they're.
Or FIFA, dude. You get people playing some FIFA.
Their pro side is not
crazy.
as polished as others.
Yeah,
true.
That's kind of what I'm thinking of like what's super competitive like in the communities. I mean, obviously you can just play against your friends on 2K, but it seems like the communities don't really show up as much for those events. Johnny, I don't know if you have other counterpoint to that, but
I mean, so the only ones that really show up for like the sports games are the ones that have been, are other guys have been there for a long time, or they do love sports in general. That, or there's a lot of money on the line, they'll come play. So like whenever I did the Arlington Open after NFL finally came back after the shooting in Jacksonville had happened, there was over 500 competitors for $190,000 that was brought to you by Snickers and Starbucks. I think Pizza Hut. Yeah, those were the 3 top sponsors.
I freaking played Madden for that. Heck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was guys that came up to me that I didn't even know. They're like, "Hey, man, thanks so much for being a good admin." Blah blah blah. This is my first tournament. I was like, "That's cool. Come back for more, man." I mean, you didn't lose much. I think it was like $70 to enter, but I mean, to win 190. Come on now.
Yeah. I mean, how many people entered? A couple thousand? I mean, that was probably
500 entered. They did, of course, preliminaries all the way down to your top 64, and then your top 64 were actually in the bracket. So it was kind of like a round robin thing to where, you had to win 2 out of your 4 games to at least advance,
Right.
But there was the kid that took second place who barely lost, walked away with 30 grand, and he was only 14 years old.
Dang, that's a nice payday.
Yeah. And I can see he was upset, but I mean, I wouldn't be upset. Yeah, you want to walk away with that bigger chunk of change.
But shoot, 30K? That sounds great.
$70 for 30K.
Yeah, so from first place all the way down to 64 got paid. So even if you made 64, you still made like $1,000.
Oh, heck yeah.
But I think first place took home. I think he took home 85 or 90,000, something like that, just for playing a video game, man. And he also got a cool so they have wrestling belts. So he had a Madden wrestling belt. I wonder if I have it on my phone and I can pull it up here and show it. Yeah, the world of esports is grown from where it just be you and I playing LAN parties.
I kind of want to talk about the direction. Well, I know we don't have a lot of time left, but the direction of how esports is going for their pro scene. I think Call of Duty is doing it the right way, and obviously I'm the most familiar with Call of Duty. But
isn't Call of Duty really the only ones doing a big deal? Like everybody else is kind of doing it. Like to me, everything else is a joke, right?
Well, they have League of Legends is big. League of Legends is big. Overwatch and Fortnite, I think, are kind of the 3 others.
Counter-Strike as well.
Counter-Strike. They're pretty big communities, but they're not doing it the same way that now Smash would be a little bit different story.
Call of Duty has its own league to where they literally have a league now with like Halo. It's Halo Championship Series. It's not a league. You have teams in there, but with the other one, teams can transfer this and that. When you're a league, you are on a signed contract unless you get dropped. You are playing for that team.
Right, because there's cities that have teams, right? I mean, it's like a real sports style,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Like
yeah, it's like watching
NBA or
NBA.
like that style, right? That's like the cities have teams and teams all fly around. I mean, not right now. We're not flying around the world competing because thanks Corona, but
right. But yeah, there was
yeah.
even international teams too.
Yeah,
Right.
London. I think Vancouver, maybe. I'm trying to think.
I think it was just London.
Ultra.
It was
Where's
just
the
London.
Ultra?
I'm
Canadian
not sure.
Ultra.
It might have been.
Ontario or Toronto.
So I
Toronto
found the
Ultra.
picture.
Toronto probably
I
had
found
a
the
team.
picture of the Madden belt that they won. So that was also the belt that they won. So a giant championship belt along with money on top.
Wow.
Yeah, and that belt was heavy too. Like I because they're doing promos when you come to walk up on there. I threw it over my shoulder and I smacked myself. I was like, ow, I actually cut my freaking chin on it. I was like, all right, put this thing down.
They didn't skip on the trophy.
No, a lot of these places they don't skip on the trophies at all. Like some of them are massive. With the Halo ones, they're nice. They're like crystal looking ones. Some of the Rocket League ones are actually my favorite. It shows like the cars nitroing across the ball like a tornado. Like one's on one side, and you see the jet trails behind it as the soccer ball's in the middle. That's one of the kick-ass ones I've seen.
Okay.
Going back to the league stuff, I think that most games should be doing something like that. Especially if the game is going to stick around for quite a while. I mean, I guess they don't know that, but like Call of Duty, they release a new one every year, and it's got a really great following.
Right. I mean, League's been around forever, right? They just don't, I guess they don't have quite some time. Right. So I guess they just don't have maybe as big of a following, or maybe that's just not something they're wanting to do. But I mean, League's been around quite a while.
There's so many teams though. There's U.S., there's international from France, Singapore, etc. But like a lot of the greats, StarCraft, for instance, or League of Legends, and even Overwatch, a lot of their great teams are international. But the great thing about Overwatch is there's a lot of good like Dallas Fuel and stuff for inside. And so it just depends. But yeah, depending on the game is how you can do it. But if you do a league, it is smart. There's more investors that get involved. But now it is pretty much now a 9-to-5 job because now you work for such league you're in. There's no ins and outs, buts. And if you screw up, then you'll get fired and you might not make it to another league. So you got to be careful.
Yeah. I think that's the way that it should go. I feel like it's easier to connect with teams.
A little more organized, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to follow. But I mean, we're making all this stuff up as we go. I mean, Call of Duty seems like they're following more of the NBA or the typical sports style of like let's have teams, let's have like a team per city, right, and build it up that way and have like a big overarching league that does all the coordination between the teams and the games and the big productions and everything, which is more typical sports related. But I mean, hey, we're making all this stuff up, right? We'll just kind of see how the balls play, how everything plays out. Because, I mean, somebody may come up with a better idea of how to organize everything or it may just say like micro teams, right? And we just have all sorts of teams that pop up and they have their own followings.
Right.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of good talent you can do. And the good thing too with it being leagues is that now instead of having 30 pro teams that are normally in your circuits, now you're dedicated to whatever the league number is, which for how it works is the AEM teams, the amateur teams, are usually in the pit. And unless you have done online tournaments for extra seeding, you're not going to be in what we call the featured station, which is your round robin play. And so to make it climb out of the pit, you literally have to win, I think, 5 or 6 games before you get even qualified to try to take on the big boys. And so it's good, but it's bad because back in my day when we played, we did free-for-all. Your entire team played free-for-all, and depending on how each one of your members did would put you on that seat of the bracket. So it didn't matter if you were final boss or if you were just a crappy AEM team. If you did well, you're going to place well. Now you have to do online events, or you just have that, hey, I'm a pro guy, like say Optic, for instance. They're automatically because they're Optic. So there's a lot of transitions they need to work on, but things have changed. Like, so this isn't 2002 or 2004 anymore.
Right.
Yeah, like you said, Chance, we're making it up as we go. It's either we'll see if it's a good decision, it'll prosper. If it's a bad decision, then the other people will figure out not to do it anymore.
Right. All brand new, so just make something up and see what sticks.
Do we have anything else, fellows?
I think that's it. I know we covered that. We covered the Call of Duty. We covered the PlayStation, Xbox. I think that's all we really need for this. Besides just our events coming up, and we can talk about that. But that's about it.
Yeah, let me pull up our events. I don't know if you already got it up, Johnny.
I don't have it up. I know our big one's coming up. We have the Marines is the 1v1 gunfight, right?
Yeah, that's coming up the 27th. Call of Duty gunfight, $250 prize, free to enter. All of our I say all of our 95% of our events are free to enter. You can find them down below at I say down below battlefy.com/clickgaming. But this weekend we got Mystery Duel coming up, which is a 1v1 for Overwatch. I got a Call of Duty Hardpoint, just practice your rotations, Hardpoint respawns, and that's coming up on the 20th. And then next week we got the big boy Overwatch stuff, which is 6v6.
That'll be fun to cast.
Yeah. We got a couple of casters. We got Johnny and another caster to work on that. And then, like Johnny said, the free to enter gunfight with the U.S. Marines. Sign up for that. Win $150, $175. We'll see what it is.
I think it's 175 for first place, and then I think it's 50.
And then
I
25.
think it's 50. Then it goes 25. Yeah, and then of course, is it? Is it October 11th? Is the other 250 for the 2v2 gunfight? And that's by the Army.
Let me go back just a little bit. Look at it. Sorry.
You're good. I think that's when that one is October 11th, and that's the 2v2 gunfight. That's for $250 as well.
Yeah, that's sponsored by the Army. Come out, sign up for it. What do you got to lose? You play 2 games and you go back to playing Call of Duty anyways.
Right, you go back to the grind. The things I'm looking forward to, don't get me wrong, I enjoy doing these free tournaments. They're great. The ones that I enjoy the most is when we get to work with Extra Life. And for instance, we just got out of a lovely meeting yesterday with Special Olympics. And so that can transition pretty far because Special Olympics has never done esports, and we're going to be the central hub of it. So if this takes off, I mean, this could, like I said, we talked about it, could lead to ESP, and this could lead to a national level,
Right.
So that's going to be fun to look into as well.
Right. And I mean, that's a big deal. Like, all this stuff is finally kicking off. I mean, I don't know if it was Corona or just it's esports time, but like, really, esports have been kicking off recently. Of a bunch of people that would have never thought about running esports, right, are saying, "Hey, what is this esports thing, and how do I get involved?" Like the Army, Air Force, they're all interested in getting involved. Special Olympics is getting interested in getting involved. Like USO has been running tournaments for like veterans and stuff. Like, there's a ton of people that are starting to get involved. Seems like it's kicking off a lot more in the last few months.
No, and that's the great thing too, is since now it is now online, everybody can play. Like, we have guys in our tournaments that are from Alaska, for instance, like Con. We have guys that are stretched out all the way to Maine. We've got people from Egypt, England, all that stuff. I mean,
right.
That's the great
Sorry
thing.
About your ping,
if you want to gain, if you're out of the U.S., we apologize for your ping, but it is a U.S. server for us to host because we don't want to be pinging looking crappy on our side. So
right. If you join a NA tournament, like, sorry guys.
Well, the guys that won our Rocket League tournament this past on Sunday, they were from Brazil.
They're from Brazil. Yeah, and more style. He's from Mexico.
Yeah, and they were rocking like 150, 200 ping the whole time, and they freaking won it all.
They were destroying.
So, no more complaining about ping. You can't complain.
Yeah,
they proved that
it
doesn't matter. You can
get beat on 100
enough that ping doesn't matter.
Yeah. Get them
but hey, check us out at the link. Chance just posted on there, battlefy.com/clickgaming. Join our Discord. I'll put it in the chat in the description for when we post this on YouTube. Obviously, our social medias are below us. But anyways, it's been fun. We'll see you next week. Thanks, Johnny. Thanks, Chance. And I'm Evan. See you guys later.
Yeah. See you guys.
Peace.